7 best museums in the UK. Hello, our dear friends. My name is Kyle. And my name is Felix. We are glad to welcome you on our lesson devoted to museums. So, today in the lesson we will revise the definition of the term museum and talk about 7 best museums in the UK. Museum is a building where objects of historical, scientific, artistic or cultural interest are kept. People can go there to view works of art or objects of interest to science or history. The largest museums are located in major cities throughout the world, while thousands of local museums exist in smaller cities and towns. There are many types of museums, including art museums, natural history museums, science museums, war museums, and children's museums. Now, when you know the meaning of the word museum, let's talk about 7 best museums in the UK. 1. The British Museum. This museum is one of the world's largest and most important museums of human history and culture. It's situated in London. The British Museum was founded in 1753 and opened in 1759. It was the first museum in the world to be open to everyone. The British Museum has more than 7 million objects from all continents. They illustrate and document the story of human culture from its beginning to the present. Some of the museum's most popular and important exhibits include the Rosetta Stone. The Rosetta Stone is a stone with writing carved into it. French soldiers found it in Egypt in 1799. It helped people get a better understanding of the ancient Egyptian writing system called hieroglyphics. Its discovery led to the translation of ancient Egyptian writing. And the Elgin Marbles. The Elgin Marbles are a series of ancient Greek sculptures made from marble. In 1852, the British Museum's famous round reading room was opened. It had enough space to display 1 million books at once. Today, the British Museum is the 3rd most popular art museum in the world. It has nearly 6 million visitors a year. Now, let's talk about the following museum. It's called the Natural History Museum. This museum is one of the country's most popular museums. It was opened in 1881. The Natural History Museum contains lots of items from 5 main collections: botany, entomology, mineralogy, paleontology, and zoology. The museum's botany collection holds around 6 million samples of bryophytes, seed plants, and ferns from all over the world. The museum's entomology collection is the oldest and most important entomology collection in the world. It contains over 34 million insects and spiders. The museum's mineralogy collection contains about 500,000 rocks, precious stones and minerals, including 5,000 meteorites. The museum's paleontology collection consists of over 7 million vertebrate, invertebrate and plant fossils. The museum's zoology collection consists of over 29 million animal samples. A series of new permanent exhibitions has been opened in the museum, among them dinosaurs and their living relatives. The Natural History Museum has more than 5 million visitors a year. Entrance to this museum is free. The third museum is called the Science Museum. This museum is one of the greatest museums of science and technology in the world. The Science Museum was founded in 1857. It's located in South Kensington, near the Natural History Museum and the Victoria and Albert Museum. There are over 15,000 objects on display, including world-famous objects such as the Apollo 10 Command Module, Stephenson rocket, and Puffin Billy, the world's oldest surviving steam locomotive. The Science Museum has a gallery with exhibits of medical instruments and practices from ancient days and from many countries. There is also a dedicated library in the museum. It includes different periodicals, early books and manuscripts. This library is used by scholars worldwide. The Science Museum is the most visited science and technology museum in Europe. It has more than 3 million visitors a year. Now, let's talk about the following museum. It's called the Victoria and Albert Museum. This museum is the world's largest museum of applied and decorative arts and design. It's situated in London. The museum was founded in 1852 and named after Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. It has a permanent collection of over 2 million objects. The Victoria and Albert Museum contains 145 galleries. The museum's collection covers 5,000 years of art, from ancient times to the present day, from the cultures of Europe, North America, Asia, and North Africa. The Victoria and Albert Museum has the holdings of ceramics, glass, textiles, costumes, silver, ironwork, jewelry, furniture, medieval objects, sculpture, drawings, and photographs. They are among the largest and most comprehensive in the world. The fifth museum is called the National Railway Museum. This museum is the largest railway museum in the world. It was opened by Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, in 1975. The National Railway Museum tells the story of rail transport in Britain and its impact on society. This museum has over 6,000 objects on display, of which around 100 are locomotives or rolling stock. The collection also includes fine jewelry worn by railway queens, models of planes, boats, and so on. The National Railway Museum holds a large open library and archive of railway-related material. This includes an internationally significant collection of locomotive and rolling stock engineering drawings. The National Railway Museum is very popular, and it has almost 1 million visitors a year. Now let's talk about such museum as the National Gallery. It's an art museum in Trafalgar Square in the city of Westminster. This museum was founded in 1824 when the government bought the collection of John Angerstein, which included 38 paintings. Today, the National Gallery has a collection of over 2,300 paintings dating from the 13th century to 1900. The collection is not so big, but it has the most representative samples of European painting in the world. The National Gallery has the most comprehensive collection of Italian Renaissance paintings outside Italy. It includes works by most of the great Florentine and Venetian masters of that period. There are also impressive holdings of works by various British, French, Spanish, and Flemish painters from the 15th to the 19th century. The National Gallery is among the most visited art museums in the world. And the seventh museum is the Churchill War Rooms. This museum is situated in London. It contains the Cabinet War Rooms, a historic underground complex that housed a British government command center throughout the Second World War, and the Churchill Museum, a biographical museum exploring the life of British statesman Winston Churchill. The construction of the Cabinet War Rooms began in 1938. They became fully operational in 1939, a week before Britain declared war on Germany. The war rooms remained in operation throughout the Second World War before being abandoned in 1945 after the surrender of Japan. After the war, the historic value of the Cabinet War Rooms was recognized. As a result, they were opened to the public in 1984. On this picture, you can see the Cabinet Room. Here the Prime Minister, his key ministers and advisors would meet with the Chiefs of Staff to make important decisions. The tables have been laid out to create a central well with enough space for 3 seats. The museum was reopened in 2005 as the Churchill Museum and Cabinet War Rooms, but in 2010 this title was shortened to the Churchill War Rooms. Guys, we've told you about 7 best museums in the UK. That's all for today. See you soon!